Good morning everyone and welcome back. This is class 6, subject social science, chapter number 8 of civics. As we have already started, name of the chapter is rural livelihood. In this chapter rural livelihood, we have already covered one of the lecture in which we talked about the economic activities. Then we talked about the main economic activity that in the rural areas, that is agriculture, and we have taken the example of Kalpattu village in which we talked about different type of farmers, and out of all three types of farmers we talked there about two farmers. Tulasi was landless laborer, not a farmer, we can say. She is landless laborer. She works on others' land. So people dependent on the farming. We can say here Tulasi we talked about. Then Sekar we have taken the second example, in which we have seen that Sekar has the 2 acres of his land. Now here in lecture number 2 it's to be. So now today the topics that we are going to cover or discuss, they are Ramalingam, a large landholder. As about Tulasi, she is landless laborer, and Sekar, who just has 2 acres of land, we have already covered. So this is third type, the person who is working there on the farm or the field, that is Ramalingam, a large landholder. He is owner of the large land and get the work done by different laborers there. So I'll take the example of Ramalingam. Then the next topic, story of Pudupet village. Here, as we have taken the story of Kalpattu village, in which we talked that the people, they are dependent on agriculture and some other non-farm activities. Here in Pudupet village, we'll take the example that the population of this village, they are mostly engaged there in the fishing work. So that example will take. Then terrace farming, the meaning of terrace farming here will take. And at last, obviously we'll take homework that will be on the basis of topics covered. So let's start with the topics. Ramalingam. Ramalingam holds 20 acres of land. He is owner of a rice mill and a shop also. So Ramalingam, who is a rich farmer, we can say, and with the land of 20 acres, as well as he is owner of rice mill where different workers they work and they have the production of rice there, then they sell it to the market. They get the paddy crop from different villages and produce the rice there in the rice mill. Then a shop also, he is owner of a shop also, and the shop that is of seed, pesticides or the fertilizer. So it is showing that Ramalingam is very rich person here. His wife name is Karuthama. She supervises the work of female laborers like Tulasi. As we talked about Tulasi, she is working there on Ramalingam's land. So Ramalingam's wife Karuthama, she supervises the work done by female laborers there on the field. They buy paddy from the village and the surrounding villages. Then rice is produced in the rice mill. So firstly they buy the paddy from the village, different villages as well as from his own village, and then they produce the rice there in the rice mill with the help of different workers. So this is all about Ramalingam, that is very rich person there in Kalpattu. Now agricultural laborers and farmers in India. If we talk about the population in the villages, about the agriculture laborers and the farmers, there we'll see that very less number of farmers they are rich like Ramalingam, and the percentage of small farmers that is high there in India. In India, nearly 2 out of every 5 rural families are agricultural laborer families. Agricultural laborer families, the families who do not have their own land and they depend for the work on others' land only. So here, out of 5 families, if we talk about, nearly 2 families are the landless laborers or agricultural laborers family in India. Now, if we talk about farmers, as I told you that these agricultural laborers work on others' field to earn a living. Now, if we talk about farmers, 80% of farmers are small farmers in India like Sekar, and only 20% in India are like Ramalingam, means large land holder. Only 20% of farmers in India are like Ramalingam who hold the large land, and 80% are small farmers. So this is all categories that we talked about and the condition of the farmers there in India. Clear? The next topic, steps can be taken for equality. Equality, the state when everyone is equal, and if we remember, we have already covered that our constitution says that every person is equal in front of laws. But still, if we can take example of Kalpattu village, or not only Kalpattu, we can take the example from any of the villages. There we can see that equality is not present among the farmers. Some farmers they have very large land, and some farmers they have very small piece of land. Clear? So this is inequality there. So how can government bring the equality there? Some steps can be taken by the government, like bank loan on the places of loans from money lenders. For bringing equality there, the farmers those are in need of loan, the government should give the loan. Government should ask the banks for the loan instead of taking loan from the money lenders, because money lenders they give the loan to the farmers at very high interest rate. Do you know what is this? You can take loan is the amount of money that has been taken, that has been borrowed. Okay, and on the borrowed money, then some amount of interest is to be given, and that rate you can say on 100 rupees 4% or 5%, 3%, 2%. Okay, so that interest rate is high when they get the loan from money lenders. Supply of seed, fertilizer and pesticides that should be given by the government, and electricity supply at cheaper rates. We know that electricity they use there in the agriculture when sometimes when they use the tube wells with the help of electricity. Obviously the need of electricity they have, so government can help at that situation for bringing the equality there, and even the equal distribution of land can be done here. Clear that though it is not possible, it is against the laws that we take the part of land from any one person and give to the other person, but we are taking here the steps that can be taken. Okay, we are not saying that these steps will be taken only. So the equal distribution of land we can take here. Now, as we talked about Sekar there in the first lecture, and we talked about the problems of small farmers also. Now we'll discuss when the small farmers they are in debt. Debt means कर्ज, when they borrow a lot of money, the lot of loan from the money lenders, from the banks, and they they have the burden of loan on their shoulders. So in that case, how can government help them? Government can help the small farmers when they are in debt, when they have borrowed a lot of money from the bank as well as from the money lenders. So what should the government do? Government should provide loan at lower interest rate. As I told you, whatever the amount of loan has been taken, on that amount the interest rate is to be given to the person from where they have borrowed the loan or borrowed the money. So interest rate on that money should be lower. Government should provide the loan at the lower interest rate, first thing. Next, what the government should do? Banks should be asked to give loan to the farmers. Government should start the different schemes that, and government should ask the government banks to give the loans to the farmers. The next thing, subsidies should be granted on the purchase of seeds, fertilizers and pesticides. These seeds, fertilizer, pesticide, these are really the different requirements of the farmers when they are growing the crops. So government should give the subsidy on these products. Subsidy here means that it really help in lowering the prices of different things. And what is this subsidy? Suppose any material which has the cost of 400 rupees and government provide 100 rupees subsidy on that particular product. So it will lower the price and there will not be any effect on the producer, because that 100 rupee will be provided by the government to producer. Suppose any bag of seed is there and its cost is 400 rupees. Okay, and government provide the 100 rupees subsidy on that. Then what will happen? The rate of that seed bag will decrease and it will become 300 rupees, because 100 rupees subsidy it has been given by the government. And the producer who produced that seed packets, seed bags, that they receive 300 from the farmers as the subsidy they have taken from the government. So and the rest 100 rupees they get from the government. This is subsidy. So with the help of subsidy the prices can be lowered. So government should grant the subsidy on the purchase of seeds, fertilizer and pesticides. Loan waiver should be implemented. Loan waiver means to remove the condition of the loan repaying, or you can say karja maafi. So it should be implemented. In by using these different things, the government can help the farmers when they are in debt, when they have taken the loan from the bank or any money lender. So these steps can be these steps government should take. The next topic is story of Pudupet village. People of Pudupet earn their livings by fishing. They use catamarans, or catamarans means small boat, nets for catching fish from the sea. They set their journey to the sea or for catching the fish during night near about 2 a.m. Here one of the family that is described there in Pudupet, that is the family of Aruna and Parivelan. They describe that how what type of life they are living, and Aruna is describing that one night when her husband and brother-in-law they went for the journey and they came late. She was very worried because storm was there in the sea during that night. They came late, and she describes all the complete work that they do. When they come back with the fish, and then those fish they sell there in the market, and they are getting the livelihood. In the morning, these fish are auctioned in the market or sell in the market. They keep a part of the sale with them for buying equipment for fishing like net, catamarans, engines, etc. Whatever the money they get after selling all the fish, they divide that money among the people those are involved there in that work, and some part they just keep for buying the equipment like net, catamarans, engines, and sometimes even they get the loan from the traders as well as from the banks. We know that during the monsoon season, that is the breeding season of fish, and even during that particular time it is very dangerous to go there in the sea. So in that particular time they do not have any work, so they are dependent on the traders. They get the money from them, and then they pay that money during the time when they are doing fishing. Sometimes they take loan from banks even, and from traders, as I told you. At the time of monsoon they are not able to catch fish, as I told you. So during that particular time they are dependent on others only. So this is the story given about the Pudupit, in which we have seen that people they are dependent on the work fishing. Most of the people they do the fishing because this is near to the sea. Now the next topic is terrace farming in Nagaland. One example it is given in your book. Cultivation on the slopes of a hill in flat plots stepwise is called terrace farming. So what does the terrace farming mean? Cultivation on the slopes of a hill in flat plots stepwise is called terrace farming. Here as in Nagaland the example is taken. So let's see, people of Chizami village in Fake district of Nagaland do terrace farming. So the example of Nagaland it has been taken here. Chizami village people they do the terrace farming. They do the farming there on the hills plot. The people of Chizami village have their individual fields, but they also work collectively in each other's field. That has been observed that they have the individual fields, but they help each other when the help is required. So in that case they help each other on each other's field. This is all about the example of terrace farming in Nagaland. So with this topic we have covered our complete chapter. So let's have a look there which topics we have covered. Firstly, we have taken the economic activities. Then we have taken the example of Kalpattu village. The people those are dependent on farming. We talked about different type of people like Tulasi, Sekar and Ramalinga. We talked about the problems of small farmers like Sekar. We talked about inequality and what can be done to remove it. We have also covered when the small farmers like Sekar they have the burden of loan. Sometimes they commit suicide. So when they are in debt, what steps should government take in that case? So that steps we discussed about, and then we take the example of fishing. They are in Pudupet village, and at last we covered the terrace farming with the example they are in Nagaland. So these topics we have covered. Now it's time for homework. Question number 1. List the different types of people you read about in Kalpattu who depend on farming. Who is the poorest among them and why? Here you will write first of all the first question. It is the different people depend on the farming in Kalpattu. So all three you will write there, and the poorest one you will write the name. Then why is she the poorest one? Tulasi I am talking about. So that are the reasons you will write. Next question it is, poor rural laborers like Tulasi often do not have access to good medical facilities. As we talked that her daughter was ill and they had to sell the cow there, and good schools and other resources. You have read about inequality in the first unit of this text. The difference between her and Ramalingam is one of inequality. Yes. Do you think this is a fair situation? Do you think that? So answer of this you will write. Do you think it is the fair situation? And why do you think, what do you think can be done here? As in the chapter, in the lecture we talked about different steps that government can take. So that you will discuss here about inequality. Okay. And the first part you will give answer. Do you think this is fair situation? Yes or no you will give. Then you will write the steps that government can take in equality. Define terrace farming. So your definition of terrace farming you will write here. So these questions you will attempt there in your fair register, and with some more questions we will be meeting there in the summary lecture again. Now it's time for the homework solution of lecture 1. You have probably noticed that people in Kalpattu are engaged in a variety of non-farm work. List 5 of these. Non-farm activities in Kalpattu are making baskets, utensils, pots, bricks and bullock carts. Question number 2 was, what are the problems of small farmers in rural areas? And its answer is, they have to sell the produce. The first line you can write here, problems of small farmers in rural areas. Then first they have to sell the produce to money lender at lower price because they have taken the loan from them. The remaining part of produce is not enough for the complete year. Third point, they have to work as laborer for earning because the enough production they are not having with them for the complete year. So that's why they have to work as laborer also. They also rear the cattle for the milk to be sold there in the market. The question number 3 it was, why do farming communities commit suicide? Farming committee commit suicide due to some reasons, like number 1, some farmers take loan from money lenders to purchase seeds, fertilizers, etc. Sometimes seeds are bad and pests damage the crop. The unwanted things they damage the crop, and in that case sometimes bad monsoon also damage the crop. In that case farmers have to borrow more money for their daily needs, and when there is no way before them to repay the loan, in that case they become helpless and sometimes commit suicide. So this is the answer for that. Then question number 4 was, how much land does Sekar have? And its answer is, Sekar has 2 acres of land. So these questions that were there in lecture number 1 homework. I hope that all the topics covered here you have understood well. So thank you and have a nice day.